Success has many faces. Choose yours and wear it. Welcome to Time with Flora, where we talk, learn, and grow together. Colin R. Roberts said the road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so it's really important that when we think about being successful, we also embrace the idea of how we see failure, so that when those moments of challenge, difficulty, disappointment happen, we see it part of the package of winning and not the conclusion of failure. So we're back and in the studio again with Bridget Chukwumah. You know, you've got well over 20 years experience in sales, project management. You've worked across a number of industries in the UK, South Africa. You're here in Nigeria now, building construction, oil and gas, renewable energy, telecoms, etc. You're now your own boss. You run your management consulting firm, which actually you've been doing for quite a while now. And you're also a co-owner of a desserts company, which, you know, I have to say is very, very different, very unique, and very niche in terms of what you do and who you are targeting. I thought your approach to that was quite commendable. When you think about success, I have a quote of mine, which is success has many faces. Choose yours and wear it. I love the quote. I have to remind myself of that quote many times. One of the favorite hashtags that I have with that is #slay. What does your absolutely build your own table and all of that good stuff. What does your own face of success look like, Bridget?
So, you know, success has many faces, as you say, and success a lot of times is defined. You know, it's why success is defined as a happily ever after. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the way we grow up when we're younger with our fairy favorite movies, whereby, you know, there's some upheaval to go through and everything ends well. And I think, I believe success has a bit more dimensions than happily ever after. And just like our favorite movies and our favorite books, the reason why the happily ever after resonates is based on the struggle and overcoming the struggle. For me, success is recognizing where you are in the journey and making the best of it. So for me, success can never have one face. I'm always wearing a different mask, or you can even say I'm wearing a different face. If we could even call success like an outfit. Sometimes you're wearing a pair of jeans because you're down on the floor and you're working. And sometimes you're wearing a very glamorous outfit and high heels because you're enjoying the efforts of your labor. Mm. And all I'm saying is that it's not always about high heels and lipstick. Yeah. Sometimes jeans is the success as well in that journey and learning.
I love that. I do agree. The notion that success is all about the decision you're making at a moment in time that is right for that moment in time. I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's a reframe of failure right there. Because we, you know, a lot of us see failure too often when actually it's just an adjustment to what's right for that moment in time. Looking at your career and and the defining moments of your career, how
Mhm.
have they shaped you?
Well, they do say the you know the the interesting thing is you don't know where your decisions will take you, but you, by goodness, you have to make a decision,
Hmm.
right? And which is why I say making decisions based on the information you have at the time,
Yeah.
because every action you have has a domino effect of, consequences, successes, joys. You do have a plan, but the beauty about life, which I think is good because that keeps us humble, is you can never see how far reaching your decisions are, right? Um, yeah, so career defining moments. I would say one of the because I've had many, but I would say one that I had that was very interesting was when I was based in the UK at the time, and I was working for Research in Motion, BlackBerry,
Yeah.
and, and I had worked in Canada, around Europe with BlackBerry for about 3, 4 years, because even though I'm a sales professional now, what many people don't realize was that I started in IT. I'm a real geek, and I thought I would remain in IT, but I had some very interesting mentors who told me that I'll be better customer facing.
Yeah.
Anyway, fast forward, my quest for doing something interesting and different. I joined the sales team, but I realized that um, there was a gap in the African continent. There were lots of people using BlackBerry at the time, but there was no clear strategy about how to come into Africa. And I was thinking Nigeria at the time. Was as it is, I did put myself forward to help with the project. But what was very interesting was in that journey of helping with the project, it was very clear that the company did not want to start with Nigeria first. They wanted to start with South Africa. And I was a bit disappointed because, I thought the opportunity to come to Nigeria, come back home and work, was paramount in my mind.
Mm.
So it took a bit of the shine for me. But then I now realize, and I had a chat with a couple of people that, well, you may not be in Nigeria, but you're in the African continent anyway, and it doesn't matter. You never know what what will come out of it. So what was very interesting was that the business strategy at the time was very clear. So I was sent to South Africa as an expatriate to work based on that business strategy we'd put in place. Now, and part of that business strategy, I also designed it. But 3 months down the line, I realized that the business strategy did not align with what was happening in reality. And for me, that was a very big lesson in humility and the difference between planning on paper and leaving some room for real life to actually happen,
Yeah.
right? Because you can't plan for everything. But I also had to go back to the business cap in hand to say, this strategy that I put together, I don't think it's actually going to work. And that took a lot of courage. But in addition to that, I came up saying, this is what I've noticed. And do you mind if we try out this strategy? And I'll be forever grateful to the leadership I had at that time who trusted me enough to say, for the fact that you've come to say, well, what you did, what you planned is not effective, and you're willing to do this, then go ahead and try it. And they encouraged me, but it was also very clear that they said, Bridget, this is on you. So you have to finish what you started. And that was, like I said, a big lesson in humility and realizing that you don't always get it right, but by all means, make a decision and be very clear in your communication that there's a way to do it differently and do it early so that you can re-steer the ship, as it were. But that was another lesson in courage because what that meant was, in the end, I started working in Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana together. building up retail teams from scratch. And fast forward 10 years later, it's that experience that has created the basis of my management consulting, of why I'm a sales coach today, is because I took that leap. And that leap, the journey was, I have built sales organizations in 4 different countries, in 4 different terrains, from scratch with no team, everything. And I built the team and I built out the retail space. That would have never happened without humility and courage.
Yeah. What a moment of truth I hear, with those reflections. So what's my view on this idea that success has many faces? Well, it's actually my quote. Success has many faces, choose yours and wear it. It's something that I came up with some years ago. And I do believe that is true, that it's all very much dependent on, while there is an overarching goal of where it is you're going, of what it is that you're trying to do, day by day, each day is an opportunity for success in its own right. A change in situation, something happening that was unexpected. Each opportunity, each moment of difference is an opportunity to wear a face of success. And part of how we do that is, even when the challenges come, that we pick ourselves up, we learn from it, and use that to leverage us to the next stage of where we need to get to. There's a Barack Obama quote that says, "The real test is not whether you avoid this failure, because you won't. It's whether you let it harden or shame you into inaction, or whether you learn from it, whether you choose to persevere." And yes, so success does have many faces. Life gives you opportunities to always constantly show you what you're made of. And it becomes a matter of choice as to whether or not you're going to pick up that opportunity and make something of it. And as Bridget said, whether it's a day that she's getting down and dirty and in her jeans or she's in her stilettos, each moment calls for us in different ways. And so the question always is, are we up to it? Are we prepared? Are we ready to be successful in that moment, in that day? Success has many faces. Choose yours and wear it all the time. Thank you for listening to the Time with Flora podcast. This podcast was produced and edited by me, Flora Omosera. You can support the Time with Flora podcast by becoming a patron. As a patron of this podcast, you will be entitled to benefits including one-to-one catch-up time with me, mentoring and coaching. To become a patron of this podcast, go to www.patreon.com/timewithflora, one word. That's www.patreon.com/timewithflora. Thank you.